Hi y'all, Tracy, Trials of a Long-Haired Girl here. I am participating in a collab hosted by Kim over at A Girl and Her Phone, called the Creative Ways to Save Money. And so here is kind of, and y'all will forgive me, but I made myself notes because for those of y'all that know me or have been around for a minute, I sometimes can rattle on. So kind of what I'm going to share is some things that I do and that my mother did, that I saw her do when, let's be honest, when we were too broke to pay attention. I don't have this talent quite as well as my mother, but I've done a little bit of it this week. One of the big things that I know y'all have seen me trying to do a little more of, and that's meal planning. But my mother was amazing at meal planning. And my grandmother, I think, before her, she would make, for instance, she would make a big old pot of beans, pinto beans. She'd make a big old pot of pinto beans, and we would have beans and cornbread. Sometimes it was just beans and plain cornbread. Sometimes it was beans and her special cornbread, which I was telling Kim about this the other day. It was basically, she bought 2 packages of cornbread. She mixed both according to the package directions. She took 1 package and put it at the bottom of a pan. Then she would put a pound of hamburger meat and some cheese. Usually it was sliced American cheese because that's what we normally had on hand. And then she would put the other package of prepared cornbread on top. And we would eat on that for days. I love it. I can eat it by itself. It makes me very happy. So we would have beans and cornbread and like fried taters. Then maybe the next night, if we felt like it, we would have beans and cornbread again. If we didn't, sometimes she would take that same pot of beans and she would make chili beans. And we would take the chili beans, and sometimes we would just have chili and crackers. Or one night we might put it on baked potatoes. One night we might make homemade Frito pie. But she was amazing at coming up with ideas like that and making it stretch a little further than what it might otherwise. Because I'll be honest, we didn't have meat every day. We had it most of the time, or it was stretched out by putting it with beans or something like that. So that was one of the big things that she did, and I've kind of done a little bit of that this week. We had beans and cornbread Sunday. We had beans and cornbread. Then my husband and I, this is Tuesday when I'm recording this, my husband and I had we had beans and cornbread for lunch today, and then I took some of the beans and I attempted to make some refried beans. And note to self, use the slotted spoon next time you're going to make refried beans. But we ate them. They were good. They weren't as smushed as I would have liked, but they were good. They went well with the quesadillas. So that's something. And the other thing that I've done, which I really enjoyed, we fixed a lentil chili a couple weeks ago. We had the lentil chili, like just with crackers. We had lentil chili, and then we had one night we had lentil chili over Fritos, and made it into a Frito pie. It's all about what you can do with it and how you enjoy it and kind of what your family enjoys. One of the other things that I have been doing, especially during this time of sheltering in place, we've been eating a lot more meatless meals, or with limited meat. Like, I fixed my mother's special cornbread on Sunday, but I didn't use a whole pound of ground beef. I put some ground beef in there so we had the flavor, and I put some cheese in there so we had the flavor. But I fixed it in my cast iron skillet, so I can't do two full packages or two full batches of cornbread in there because it takes too long to cook. So focusing on meatless meals, making something that you can add something to it to make it into something else, to make another meal so it's not exactly the same. Something else that I thought about the other day, and actually did the other day because we're running low. My husband was able to find some, but we were running low on paper towels. So I did something that I remember my mother doing when we were running low on paper towels. She would take brown paper sacks and she would cut them up. She would drain bacon on it, or sausage, hamburger meat, stuff like that, so that we were making use of it and it wasn't just being recycled, or it wasn't just being used for a trash bin. I know it's not the popular thing so much to do these days, but still one of the big things that I do. In fact, I've had this particular shirt for several years, but if I'm not mistaken, I got it from the thrift store or from the Goodwill when I went shopping with my cousin. It's one of the things that I enjoy doing. I think it's the hunt for me. I enjoy going, I enjoy looking, I enjoy taking the time, finding things that fit. My two new skirts that I got, a month or so back, I got those at the thrift store. They were a smaller size, but especially right now, while I am still losing, I can't see the point in spending full price for an outfit. I can't. My husband jokes and says that clearance is my middle name, because when we go into a store, especially like a bigger store, a Macy's, Belk, although our Belk is closing or has closed, Dillard's, anything like that, most of the time I go straight for the clearance racks because they have some really still great things that they've marked down because it's no longer this year's style, or it's not the right season, or whatever. And if you play your cards right, you can plan your entire wardrobe for the next season. And I'm not so particular that I think I have to be, I have to have the latest and greatest of everything in this style or whatever. I'm not that girl, in case y'all haven't figured it out yet. And I love vintage. I love vintage stuff. I love yard sales. I love flea markets and thrift stores, and I enjoy the old cookbooks. Like, we would be going down the road on a Saturday morning, and all of a sudden my mama would go, "Stop! What's wrong? We just passed a garage sale. Turn around, go back." My husband was a little taken aback when I did that to him. He wasn't a big fan. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, unless it's for a special event, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be the first owner. You just don't. Now things like appliances, like this freezer back here, that we bought brand new, and we got the extended warranty on it, because stuff like that, I feel like that's worth it. Okay, here's something that I know a lot of the things that you may read tell you not to do. but I find that it works for us. I watch for the sale cycles, particularly at Target, because that's when I tend to find the best deals. Um, I will search for things. I'll watch the sale cycle, and then I will search for things that I know that we're going to need or that we're going to use. For instance, Target will do their big sale on deodorants, or buy 4 or spend $20 and get a gift card for X amount. When I see that, that's when a lot of times I will go to the store and I will buy deodorant. I'll buy deodorant, a couple for my husband, a couple for me, a couple for my daughter, a couple for my son. I'd try to do the body washes, when they have that kind of sale, or shampoos, things like that I know that we're going to use. I do not, because it upsets my husband, I no longer buy things just because I have a coupon or a rebate or because it's on sale. I did that when I was couponing, and yes, we saved money, but we also spent a lot of money in order to save money. And if I'm not mistaken, from my several years ago when I was on my big couponing kick, I think we may still have a smaller detergent in our garage, because I stockpiled like you would not believe: detergents, fabric softeners, anything like that I knew that we would use. So, I also do that with toothpaste, aside from soap. And some of the other things that I would recommend, if it doesn't bother you, sign up for some of the apps like Fetch or Ibotta. Checkout 51, Shopman is one that I've used before. These are things that, did I mention Ibotta? Ibotta is one that I've used pretty frequently. They offer a rebate. I won't really say a refund, but a rebate. And a lot of times, if they're trying to get you to try something new, they will do a free or a money back if you limit it to X. Like, I've gotten little coffee things. Ultimately, I got my money back for it. And I have it set up so that I can transfer money to my PayPal. I'm also on Rakuten. I think it was Ebates when I signed up for it. And I'm also on Top Cash Back. Because those things, I know I can sign up for these things, and especially like when I'm doing my Christmas shopping and stuff like that, we get money back from that. And if it's going to be money that I'm going to spend anyway, it makes sense to me to try to get money back from that if I can. I'm not going to say that I spend so much that we, get back hundreds of dollars. I don't spend that much to buy that many new things. But like this year, we got a check. They call it the big fat check from Rakuten, or I'm just going to call it Ebates. I know what it is, and I can still get to it from Ebates. But like, I bought some stuff from Groupon, and I was able to sign in using the Ebates page, get into my Groupon account, buy what I needed to buy, and then it would automatically do the rebate. I buy Bath and Body Works for my mother-in-law every year. This is something that I buy for her every year, so I get gift cards. I sign into whichever one will give me the best rebate, And then I sign into my Bath and Body Works account. I get what I want. I check out using the gift cards, and I wind up getting money back. And in my mind, it's a win-win. So those things are an option as well. The other thing, if it works for you, if you have somebody that you trust that can go into it with you, I've actually had friends or family members in years past where we have gotten a membership to Sam's. And I remember my mother doing this too. Get a membership at Sam's or Costco. And instead of buying the supersized package of paper towels or toilet paper just for yourself, buy it, split the cost with someone else, and you're not having to buy you're still buying it, but you're not going to have to store as much for yourself. And these are things that, I've done. I've had people in my family that have done that. And it helps. We tend to keep things not so that we need just a ton of storage space, but we always try to keep paper towels, quite a few paper towels on hand, or toilet paper, things like that. And so when all of this happened, because we don't stockpile toilet paper, I did at one point, I really did, but because we don't do that anymore, I'm not couponing, we were down to our last, like 4 rolls when all this happened. So my husband had to rush out and try to find toilet paper. So thankfully he was able to find some, but now when we start running low, we're finding that the toilet paper around our area anyway is very hit and miss. Eggs and things like that right now are very hit and miss. But I think because I know some of the things that my mother taught me, I don't worry so much about what I can do. Because I know what my family will eat, and I know what I can do. I know what I'll have leftovers if I make it. And we're kind of figuring out how to make it work. Anyway, again, thank you very much to Kim for putting this together. I hope that I have shared some tips that you feel like are beneficial, that you might be able to use. Take a look at all the other girls. We have some great people who are participating in this collaboration. I know there's going to be a variety of information, and hopefully some of this will be beneficial to you, especially during these trying times. I know that this time has been difficult for all of us because we've gotten used to a different way of doing things. But I feel like having experienced what I did growing up, being a single mother on a budget, you figure out how to make things work. I can't tell you the number of Spam sandwiches I had growing up, or, when I was a single mother, I would run home for lunch and have a Spam sandwich because, it was not too expensive. I could get multiple sandwiches out of it. And it was, it was something easy that I could throw together and do. Not Weight Watcher friendly, but, not everything is. And especially not right now. Anyway, have a great day, y'all. I hope that you find something beneficial either in mine or in all the other folks that are joining us. There are 2, 3, 4. There's probably about 10, I think, of us. So I hope that you all enjoy them and that you glean some good information. Have a great day, y'all.